Hello and welcome to the next entry for the Wind Speaks audio blog. Years ago, when I was doing my life coach training, one of the teachers, she shared a quote that was a really interesting quote. And it was a quote that, as I've shared it over the years, a lot of people don't understand or like it. and it makes sense that there's some resistance to it. And the quote is, "The future creates the present. The future creates the present." And essentially what this quote is asking us to contemplate is the idea that whatever it is that we're facing right now in the present moment is essential for a future outcome that we can't see. And that can be hard to accept, especially when we're in it. I think about those moments when I've had struggle, those moments that have been really hard to feel, those moments that have been a challenging experience. And the last thing we want to hear in those moments is, "Oh, this is happening for a reason." In those moments, it just does not help, because I think of the times that I've been in those places and it doesn't help. I don't want to hear it. As a matter of fact, it makes me angry to hear it, because it doesn't feel good to be going through what you're going through or what I'm going through. And yet, when we take a step back later, we can start to see why we had to go through those things. And I think that the reason this is on my mind is because I've been going through, we're just in the tail end of the year of the snake, and we're shedding things. We're literally transforming ourselves and releasing the layers, the skins of what no longer serves us as we get ready to go into the year of the fire horse. And it can be painful to shed. And so over the course of this year, there's been some very interesting things that I've been releasing, some interesting things that I've been working through. If I'm honest, I've been resistant to the process because I didn't want to have to experience what I had to experience along the way. And it's only now, as we get towards the end of the year, the Chinese New Year in this case, that I can start to see the puzzle pieces, and I can start to see why I had to have those experiences. And we're not done yet. There's still time. There's still a couple weeks left, and I can really start to understand, oh wow, it's like I wouldn't have the clarity I have right now if it wasn't for these experiences playing out the way they did. Or I wouldn't have the beauty that is starting to surface if it wasn't for the experience that I had. And this is the interesting thing. We're always experiencing some sort of polarity. It's like we need one feeling in order to feel the other, or one feeling in order to appreciate the other. And it's only by going through the hard challenge that we appreciate the other side of that duality. And it's like it's an essential rite of passage that we don't want. And that's the funny part, because when we're in it, we're feeling the depths of what it is we're experiencing. And usually it's confronting parts of ourselves that we don't want to look at, aspects of ourselves that we don't want to release, or we don't want to have to change our relationship to. And that's hard. It's really hard. And yet, the outcome can be so rich if we allow the process. And so this is why the future creates the present. And when I think about my, I guess you could call it my darkest moment, if it wasn't for that moment, I might not be sitting here doing this recording right now. I might not be doing the work that I'm doing. Things might look very different. And so for me, it's interesting to have gratitude for that darkest moment, that turning point, that moment that I said, this will never happen again. I will never make these choices again. And that set me on a trajectory that was completely different from the trajectory that I had been on. And so that moment caused a lot of emotional pain, a lot of struggle, a lot of years and years of resistance and trying to resolve what had happened. And eventually I got to a place of gratitude. And it wasn't easy. It wasn't easy at all. And I often talk about the hero's journey and the phases that we go through in the hero's journey. And the first is the call. It's the tap on the shoulder. And usually the call comes as an experience. Sometimes it comes as a message, as a voice that says, hey, something's got to change. And sometimes if we don't listen to that voice, it comes as an experience that kind of knocks us over. And that's what happens in these hero's journey moments, these experiences that are trying to bring us to our next level. And the next thing we have to do, the second part of the hero's journey, is to say yes to that journey, to embrace it. And the moment we do that, we have to be in the uncertainty, which is the third phase. We don't know where this is taking us. We don't know what the outcome is going to be. Very much like the caterpillar in the cocoon that doesn't know that it's going through this magnificent transformation. And this is the last phase of the hero's journey, is the transformation, the outcome, the unexpected outcome, the magic, or the return to the village. And in the case of the caterpillar, it becomes this beautiful butterfly. And it's in that moment that we become the beautiful butterfly, that we become transformed. It's then that we can look back and say, wow, I'm so understanding now of why I had to go through this process and why it had to be so hard and why it felt so challenging. Because we can see how we were shaped by the experience and what it ultimately gave us that we wouldn't have been able to access without having gone through the experience. And so on some level, there's a design to all of this. There's a magic that is being woven into the tapestry of our life. And yet, I know that I've been in resistance to that process, even though I've been very much aware that what's happening is helping me. And yet, I don't want to go through it at an 8 or a 9. I'd much rather go through it at a 2 or a 3. But if I went through it at a 2 or a 3, I might not have the same depth of understanding, the same depth of growth, the same depth of wisdom on the other side. So just something to ponder. Sometimes it's nice to hear this kind of message when we're not in it, when we're not in the swamp. And maybe it'll help make sense of something in your life that you've been through or that you're going through. Either way, I hope you find your message within this message, and I think I'll leave it there. Thanks so much for listening, and I look forward to connecting again next time. Bye for now.